One morning, you wake up, you walk to the window, and in the snow outside, you see a single trail of footprints coming from the forest, leading straight to your front door, but never going back. So where is the person who made them? If that question just made your skin crawl, I'd stop watching now. Because in March of 1922, in a remote corner of Germany, there was a family who forgot to ask that question. And within days, not one of them was left alive. Andreas Gruber stood at the edge of his property that morning, staring at the snow. The footprints came from the forest. Someone had crossed the fence, walked through the yard, and stopped at the front door. He searched for over an hour. No returning tracks, no sign of another direction, nothing, as if the person had walked to the door, stepped inside, and dissolved. Andreas told himself what people always tell themselves. Must have been a hunter. Probably nothing. He went inside. He closed the door. That was the last reasonable decision he would ever make. It started the first night. Everyone was asleep, and then footsteps from the attic. Slow, deliberate, careful, like someone who didn't want to be heard. Andreas grabbed his lantern and his rifle, climbed the stairs, searched every corner. Dust, old boxers, nothing. He came back down, put out the light, and the moment the room went dark, the footsteps started again. This happened night after night. Then one morning, Andreas found something on the kitchen table. A newspaper, local, printed in Munich. No one in the family had bought it. No one had been to town. Someone had left it there. Someone had come inside, placed it on the table, and left. Or hadn't left. Days later, the house keys vanished. The whole farm was searched. They were never found. From that day on, the Gruber family couldn't lock their own front door. The housemaid had been telling them for weeks. There's someone here. We're being watched. Something is wrong with this house. They didn't believe her, so she left. Packed her things, walked out, never came back. She was the only person connected to that house who would survive. The date was March 31st, 1922. That evening, a new maid arrived at the farm. Her name was Maria Baumgartner. When she stepped through that door, she didn't know it was the last time she ever would. 6 people were on the property that night. Andreas, his wife, his daughter Victoria, Victoria's 2 small children, and Maria. Late in the evening, strange sounds came from the barn. The animals were restless. Andreas got up, walked through the dark yard, pushed open the barn door, and whatever was waiting for him inside never let him walk back out. One blow to the skull. Then his daughter came looking for him. Then his wife. Then his 7-year-old granddaughter. The killer drew them in, one by one. Gave none of them time to scream. Gave none of them time to run. Then returned to the house. The maid Maria was asleep in her room. 2-year-old Joseph was in his crib. By morning, there were 6 bodies on the Hinterkaifeck farm, and a silence so complete, it swallowed everything. Now let me tell you the part that will actually keep you up tonight. The killer didn't leave. After 6 murders, he stayed. He woke up the next morning, walked into the kitchen, ate the food that was there, made coffee, lit a fire in the living room. And that weekend, neighbors passing by looked over and saw smoke rising from the chimney. They thought, the Grubers are home. Everything's fine. Every morning, the killer went to the barn, milked the cows, fed the horses, tended to the animals. Downstairs, the bodies of the people he'd killed were still lying in the hay, and he was doing the daily chores like a farmer. For 4 days. 4 days. And no one knew. And here is the question I can't stop thinking about. Where did he sleep at night? 4 days later, neighbors went to check on the family. The little girl hadn't come to school. Letters were piling up. No one had seen the Grubers. A group of men walked to the farm. They knocked. Silence. They went inside, and they found them. In the barn, buried beneath hay. Police questioned hundreds of people, more than 100 suspects. No conviction, no confession. In 2007, 85 years after the murders, Munich Police Academy students reopened the case using modern DNA analysis. They identified a suspect. The name was never released. The file was never closed. The farmhouse was demolished in 1923. Today, all that stands where the farm once was is a small stone in an empty field. What stays with me is that the Gruber family never knew. They heard footsteps above their heads. They found a newspaper nobody had bought. Their keys vanished. Something felt wrong. And still they stayed. They ate dinner. They went to sleep. They woke up the next morning, not knowing that every strange thing they dismissed was part of the same story. Andreas saw the footprints. He looked at them, and then he walked back inside. That was the moment. Not the murders, not the investigation, not the discovery. That moment. Because once that door closed, whatever was waiting for them no longer had to hide. The case is still open. The killer was never identified. And somewhere in Bavaria, there is a small stone in an empty field, where a farmhouse used to stand, where 6 people used to live. That's all that's left.